Hey, good day, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Andrew's Life. This is gonna kind of be a eat breakfast with me kind of video because, as you all can see, or you will see in a second, I'm eating my breakfast. I'm eating omelet with some onions and peppers, and I got my oatmeal and my coffee, which is my normal routine for my morning. I just want to let you guys know that, for starters, for those of you that have recently subscribed to my channel, thank you and I appreciate it. Thanks for watching and leaving comments below. I appreciate all that. Giving me likes. Thank you for everything that you people have done for me so far for me on this channel. I'm making this video because, for starters, I want to let you guys know that I do have a new channel. I just started that channel yesterday night. The channel is called man, my memory's bad. Forgive me. Single Man's Paradise is what the new channel is called. Single Man's Paradise. Now, it's going to be a slightly different type of single man's channel than most single man's channels that are already out here. I mean, on this channel, basically, I'm going to be focusing more on what men ought to do while they're single before you get into a relationship. If you want to get into a relationship, whether it be a long-term serious relationship or it be a full-blown marriage, or if you choose to just stay single for the long run, like myself. The channel, my other channel, Single Man's Paradise, is going to basically be about certain decisions that you ought to make as a single man. And if you're younger, like in your 20s and early 30s, that's going to be the age bracket that I really would like to reach out to. Because there's been a lot, as I got to thinking about a lot of stuff in my life, there's been a lot of mistakes I've made in my life. There's been a lot of decisions I made that were not so good. There's been a lot of things that I regret doing or not doing. There's been a lot of things I'm getting ready to do now in my 40s that I wish I would have done when I was in my 20s, or at the very latest in my early 30s. And although any time is a good time to better your life, I would say if you realize that your life is going a certain path that you don't want it to go, I would say the younger you realize that, the better off the rest of your life will be. So my attitude is, if you can detect, for lack of better terms, of how you want your life to be, if you know how you want your life to be in your late teens and into your 20s, congratulations, you're gonna be ahead. You're gonna really be ahead. You're gonna be ahead of a lot of other people in your age bracket. You're gonna be ahead of a lot of people, period. So I would say the younger that you are, that you take in some of this kind of information I'm getting ready to put out, the younger that you are, that you take in some of this information that is on other channels similar to this one, when it comes to how to allocate your resources, your money, real estate, relationships, education. The younger you are that you learn to properly allocate your resources, the better off you're going to be. Because like I said, there's a lot of stuff I wish I would have done when I was younger that I'm just now getting around to accomplishing. So this other channel is going to be a channel to where basically I'm going to make myself a little vulnerable and share some of the mistakes I made when I was younger. And hopefully for a lot of you folks that are in your 20s and early 30s, or maybe you're just getting out of high school, you might be 17, 18, 19. Hopefully you come across this channel or channels like this. You watch it, you take in the content, and you don't go out here and do the same stupid shit that people like me have done. So that's basically what this other channel, Single Man's Paradise, is going to be about. I mean, I will be talking a little bit about, I'm going to be talking a little bit about everything, to be quite frank with you folks. But I just wanted to make this video to let you guys know about my new channel. So, you know, feel free to go check it out. Don't be scared to go check it out. For you single moms that are raising your sons by yourself, you know, don't be greedy, don't be selfish, don't be scared. Go check it out too. I'm pretty sure some of what I'm going to be saying will apply to some of you single moms even. But primarily, like I said, this is going to be a channel for other men who are also single. So yeah, go check that channel out, Single Man's Paradise. Now on to some other stuff. Now another thing I'd like to discuss is, I noticed in many parts of Indiana, I mean, you know, as you guys will understand, the housing bubble is still going on. You still got people going out here and buying houses sight unseen, just paying whatever the hell. Now, whether you're purchasing in Indiana or you're purchasing in any other state, I can't emphasize enough that before you go purchase a home, do your due diligence. Go online, look at the tax records of the property, look at the sale history of the property that you're wanting to buy. Ultimately, jump in your vehicle and drive out to the area where that property is located and check out the property in person. Or at the very least, if you're not going to look at the property yourself, which is something that I would suggest you to do, but if you're not going to follow that suggestion, at the very least, hire someone that you know and you trust and tell them to go look at the property. And when they get to the property, have them do a video for you of the inside and outside of the property. Have them even take a trip around the block, just so you can get an idea of that neighborhood. Because there's been a few houses I've seen in a few Indiana cities where I've been in those places and I'm somewhat familiar with those areas. And these areas, I would say the average house in those areas right now as I speak are selling for an average of $50,000. So basically these neighborhoods are $50,000 neighborhoods. But in these neighborhoods, I've been seeing some houses pop up that are selling, you know, that the seller is asking over $100,000 for. And what really amazes me is you got people that will pay that kind of money for these houses. Like, for an example, there's a couple of houses in Anderson, Indiana that are in neighborhoods that are worth $50,000. The majority of the properties in that community are around $50,000. But I've seen a couple of houses in some of those type of neighborhoods that are currently selling for over $100,000. Now I get that the house that is for sale for the $100,000 plus mark, okay, the house is in good shape, it's been renovated, it's been fixed up, it comes with a big lot, the yard might be fenced in, okay, that's cool, that's all good, I get it. However, and I would also add that the people who are getting ready to buy these properties, And, and one of these properties that I'm discussing, I have done a video on. So go check that video out. And the video that I'm talking about is, the title of that video is Get the F Out of Here. So go check out that video. I made that video on the 4th of July of this year. So go check it out. Because that's one of the houses that I'm talking about. That's in Anderson, Indiana. But there's been a few houses like that in Anderson, and there's been some houses like that all over the state of Indiana in general that were like that, to where you got these houses going for, the seller's asking $100,000+, and there's people out here that are willing to pay that kind of money. And I would speculate that the people who are willing to pay that kind of money are probably people that are they have no idea of the Anderson housing market, let alone the housing market in Indiana in general. B, they're probably purchasing the home sight unseen. The only picture they may have seen of the house was from the MLS or maybe from a real estate agent. They never went out to the area and looked at the house themselves. They most likely never drove around that particular neighborhood, because haven't they done any of that, they probably would have looked at that price and be like, hey, you know what, you got me effed up, man. I ain't paying $100,000 for this house, man. You smoking something, man. Forget that. Because like this house I'm in right now, I mean, I'm not gonna go into specifics of what I paid for the house and how much I put in on renovations, but this has a little indication of how much some of these people are getting ripped off, and how much you might also be getting ripped off out here if you ain't careful. Is like the house I'm in right now. I mean, I have about 3/4 of an acre of land. Now the house itself is not that big, but I don't need nothing that big. But a lot of these other houses I've looked at for way more money that I'm discussing, I mean, I will admit those houses are way bigger than this one. But the land that's around those houses are about the same as the land on this house. One was about a half an acre. The other one was about about 3/4 of an acre. No, I take that back. One of them was a half an acre. So the houses I'm discussing had around the same amount of land, if not less land, than this house that I'm in right now comes with. Now I can guarantee you guys that the neighborhood that I'm living in right now is far better than the neighborhood of the houses that I'm discussing a little bit right now that are in Anderson. I'm not saying that Anderson is a bad city, because Anderson's not a bad city. It's just that the neighborhood in which some of these houses are located in, the price that these people are getting ready to pay, they're paying way too much money. Now I wish, for their sake, they would have done their due diligence. But whatever, it is what it is. It is what it is. But if you're coming to Indiana, or a place like Indiana, to purchase a home, I mean, don't think that, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bid the highest dollar, and even though houses in the area, I mean, you really need to know what you really need to know your numbers. Like these houses I'm discussing, like I said, the neighborhood in this particular neighborhood, the average home is only going for $50,000 or so. So, you don't want to go into a $50,000 neighborhood and purchase a home for $100,000. That's bad business. that's bad economic. This is a bad idea. Or it's just bad. It's not smart. And there's a lot of you that are out here doing that as I speak. Another area where a lot of that is happening is in Detroit. There's a lot of people going to Detroit paying $100,000 for a house in a neighborhood where the majority of the houses in the past may have only sold for maybe 30 or 40 grand on a good day. And once again, a lot of you people are buying these homes sight unseen. And I can't emphasize how stupid you are for doing that. Because what's going to happen is going to kind of be like 2008. And now, of course, this is speculation, but I think I'm onto something when I say this. What's going to happen is, there's going to be some kind of a housing crash or something crazy like that. Because typically, following a housing bubble will be sooner or later the bubble's going to pop and it's going to be a crash. So when that happens, for those of you that went into these $50,000 neighborhoods and purchased homes for over $100,000 because you failed to do your due diligence, what's going to happen is you're going to be stuck with a house that's in a poor to mediocre neighborhood at best. Now the house itself might be in good condition and it might come with a good amount of land, but what's going to happen is you're going to be stuck with a house that is in a poor to mediocre at best neighborhood, and the houses on average in that area right now that might be selling for 50, the price on those houses might go down to maybe 35. So the value of that neighborhood might go from 50,000 to 35,000, and here you got this $100,000 house. Now there's probably a few of you that are paying cash for these houses. Now once again, I would speculate that a lot of you are probably taking out mortgages on these houses, which is why you're so willing to pay so much more money for the house than what the house is truly worth. What's going to happen is for those of you that got a mortgage, you're going to really get screwed. So I hope for those of you that got a mortgage or you're taking out a mortgage on these houses, like I said, you're going to get screwed big time. Because what's going to happen is the house that you paid $100,000 for today, it's not even worth $100,000 plus dollars today. So down the line, when the housing crash happens, if it does happen, your $100,000 house will be worth on a good day $40,000. So if you're not able to afford to pay that mortgage to keep that house, or if you're not wanting to keep that house because maybe you may have bought it for investment purposes, well, guess what? You're gonna have to foreclose on it, obviously. The money that you're gonna owe the bank compared to the value of the house is gonna be, the difference is gonna be so significant that the bank may not even be willing to do a short sale with you. They might be like, hey, you know what? You owe so much money on that house that they may not even be willing to do a short sale. Maybe they might do a short sale. But rather they do a short sale or you just decide to foreclose altogether, obviously it's going to mess your credit up. And then to protect yourself from getting sued for the difference, you're going to have to come out of pocket $1,000 or two, and hire yourself a bankruptcy lawyer and file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, or whatever chapter bankruptcy that you can file, or if it's business related, you're going to have to file that bankruptcy. And for some of you that might be buying these properties for investment purposes, you also run a risk of losing your personal dwelling. assuming that you have a personal dwelling that you currently own. See, these are all things that a lot of you folks out here are not thinking about. I mean, you're just going out here taking money and throwing it around like it's nothing. Like, you know, it makes absolutely no sense to buy a house for $100,000+ in a $50,000 neighborhood. That makes absolutely no freaking sense. But I know here in Indiana, there's a lot of you that are doing that stupid stuff. And like I said, go check out my video, Get the F Out of Here. Because that video is a video of one of the houses that I'm talking about in the city of Anderson, Indiana. And there's a lot of people doing that dumb shit all over the country now. I mean, at this time, all over the country, they're doing that dumb shit. You know, buying houses for double and even triple the neighborhood value, sight unseen. And I would like to remind you folks, for some people that are thinking, okay, I'll keep the house, I'll rent it out, I'll make a little bit of money, and then when the market gets back on point, I'll sell it. I got news for you. When you look at that type of math, which is way off, I mean, it's going to take you guys so long to recuperate that money that it's going to be ridiculous. For starters. And also, you got to bear in mind, for those of you that are buying houses like that in Indiana or in a state similar to Indiana, understand one thing: this is Indiana. This is not Florida. This is not California. I mean, this is not Nevada. This is not Arizona. I mean, maybe if you go to one of the vacation touristy type areas like Florida, Arizona, Nevada, California, you might get away with buying a property for way above the current market value. And then if you don't get your money up front when you go to sell it, you can keep it and just rent it out and make your money that way. And not suffer a big loss. I mean, you know, this is not, you know, Indiana is not that type of state. Indiana is not that type of state. I mean, here in Indiana, if you buy a house for $100,000 that's only worth 50 or 60 on a good day right now, and then the value of the community plummets due to a potential housing crash, and now that house might go to being worth only, let's say, $35,000, and you have a mortgage out for $100,000 plus. Well, guess what? This is Indiana. I hate to bust your bubble, but you're not getting that money back. You're going to either have to accept the fact that you took a L, because you're getting ready to take an L, so you're going to have to accept that fact. Or B, you can get it foreclosed on and then turn around and file bankruptcy. But any which way, you're going to be taking an L. This is Indiana. This ain't Florida. This ain't California. This ain't Nevada or Arizona or any of those other type of states where you might be able to get away with overpaying for a home, and then okay, it's going to be a vacation rental. You're going to make your money that way. Here in Indiana, it don't work like that. I mean, the housing market here in Indiana is not the same as it is in many of your tourist areas. So if you're getting ready to come to Indiana or a state like Indiana to buy a house, my advice to you is to do your due diligence before you buy the house. You know, look at the tax records, look at the sale history, and Google that neighborhood and look at the prompts of what other properties have recently sold for in the area, and jump in your vehicle and drive to that neighborhood and look at that house in person. And as I tell you guys before, talk to a few people in the community about the area or about the property or both. Don't just look at a house and the only thing that you see are the pics from the website. Don't just look at the pics from, let's say, realtor.com, and then you call up an agent and then they show you pics themselves and then that's all you see. Don't settle for that. Take the time, take the energy, spend a little bit of gas money, or even if you gotta fly to the area, spend a little bit of money, fly out to the area, drive, whatever the case might be, and look at the area in person. Look at the house in person, inside out. Look at the area. And I would also advise you to get a home inspection, because some of these properties that are for sale that may have been freshly renovated, the renovation may have not been done correctly. The renovation may have been done half-assed. And I would say in most cases, in the neighborhoods that I'm talking about on this video, the renovations were most likely half-assed. They were most likely not done right. The materials were most likely low grade. The workmanship was most likely mediocre at best. So hire a home inspector to make sure that the renovations are done correctly, make sure that the materials are quality, and make sure everything is up to code. Because if any of that is missing, then you can be facing substantial problems with the house, which is going to mean even more money that you're going to have to spend, money that you may not even have to spend. So I know this video might be a little long for some of you. Watch the whole thing anyways, break it up, do whatever it is you gotta do, but just watch this whole video from beginning to end. I mean, I feel I've covered a lot of important information on this video. And don't forget to go to my other channel, Single Man's Paradise, and subscribe. Until next time, everybody have a blessed one. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys on the next video.